Hello everybody and welcome to Unconditional Surrender Europe, game designed by Salvatore Vasta, published by GMT Games. This is an overview of the latest module and the things that I have added. Some of this will be repeated from a previous video when I did something similar when I was showing the sortie markers. So I'm just going to kind of go through them all and hopefully get to all the things that were asked for. So as you can see, the airplanes and the fleets have these little white boxes in the right-hand corner, lower right-hand corner. That is your sorties. And if you right-click, where is it? Here's your sorties. Shift up and shift down. So once you get a sortie, you'll have both of them highlighted. If you go all the way up, I'm just going to use the shift marker so I can do this quickly. It will actually do an overlay, sort of a grade activated unit, and in that red, if you zoom in, you'll see that it says cannot activate. And then when you get to your replenish phase and you get two back, then it goes away. So there is that. Airplanes and fleets used to not have this unit eliminated line. So we've added that for when you get surrounded, you're out of supply, and you just want to send it off to your eliminated card. You used to have to pick it up and put it there. Now you can just say, nope, just send it to the card where it belongs. With that, the other thing is that the eliminated menus now are much more, they all say unit eliminated send to, and then they tell you where they'll go in full English rather than abbreviations, and then the shortcut keys where they exist. Airplanes, I've showed this before. I used to have the air ranges just all listed in a big long list. I put that in a sub-menu, so now it's 3 hexes for an airdrop. Airstrike is 7. And so on, so you can get your things. I also have added, used to have just, this is how far you can move. Well, sometimes you are out of supply, and you want to see if you can get back to some place that's in supply. So you can actually now click on a low supply, and it's the same color range, but it's only 5 hexes out instead of 10, because that's where you would be in low supply. So take care of that. Bombers still have their ridiculous 20 hex range in red. It just kind of covers the map. It's kind of, if you just want the map red tinted, you just put up a bomber and click the range button. That takes care of that. Oh, the miners. Again, see the eliminated send to. Now I have reorganized their menus so that it's actions, faction card or the combined faction card, and their control numbers. So control 1, alt 1 will send you to the Axis, control 2, alt 2 will send you to the Soviet, and control 3, alt 3 will send you to the West. Since we never know which way the miners are going to go in the main event, that's why they have those choices. What else do we need to talk about here? What else did I add? I think that's about it. I will just show you, like on the, with the polls, if you were to go, you send it to the eliminated box on the Soviet faction card. Okay? So that's kind of nice. Some other features up here at the top, I reordered all of these boxes the last time I did this, the major one. A couple of things that people tend to miss. The Who's Ally is nice, especially if the Axis does like an East first. Then most of your neutrals end up going over to the Soviets. And in the late war, it's kind of nice to know who had what neutral so that you know where the West and the Soviet can actually play their partisans when they come into play. So that's what that's for. It's just Chrome. It's an easy way of keeping track of things. The other thing is, this is some things that people miss. If you go up here and click on the scenarios, you see there's this sub thing of main event convenience setups. I made these 4 predefined setups, and what they are is it has all the miners on the board, so you don't have to dig them out of the counter tray. all by their, near their capitals, so that, when Yugoslavia activates, you're right there on the map and you can place the guys and then you put the things on the card and you don't have to go into here in the counter tray and, okay, miners and then, okay, Yugoslavia is just in a big long list. I have to go to the bottom and start pulling them out one at a time. That can take a while. This speeds up play a lot, especially if you're playing the main event where, all these things can be variable. You have no idea who's going to be doing what. The other thing that I added for this is the one that I put up here is a multiplayer variable entry. For variable entry, all the variable entry stacks come in usually in March or September, except for the Americans. If they come in on time, they start with their first stack in December, which they just get, and then it's 6 turns later, so it's June, July, June, or June, December, June, December. Those will shift based on when he actually enters, but right here is your stacks of variable entry counters. Then on the turn track are your actual, reinforcements that you're going to get. For instance, the Germans always get their economic reforms in June of 1942. So those are there. Also, just as a quick reminder, I put the Vichy forces, in case you get a Vichy. They're sitting in the lower right corner of the turn track that pops up, so that once Vichy's established, you can grab these stacks and just drop them on the board for future reference. Also on the turn track, you will find that there are exactly 8 of each of the pro markers. There's 8 bombed markers, 3 no-zone control, and then the policy evaluation, Moscow Treaty, PAS, and all this kind of stuff. For each turn that there is a variable entry die roll, there is one for September of 1939, but I thought that was silly to put a variable entry chit there. I did place a variable entry chit in each one of these months, and then you see the U.S. variable entry also, so that when you're tracking your turns there and you suddenly get to a September turn, you go, oh yeah, that's right, we have to go over here and find, that September's stack of guys and then start rolling dice. Which brings me to the next thing I added. Because you're in variable entry and you can end up like here, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 German units, 3 French units in September of 1940. Well, for those German units, would you like to roll the die 7 times and move each individual unit? Or you can go into here, and let's say we'll just roll for 7. And it's 6-sided dice, that's the number of sides. The reason why I left this way rather than fixing it to a set number of sides on the die, this is a built-in Vassal feature, and one of the things is a lot of people that play variable entry, me included, think that 6 turns might just be a little too long. A 6-month delay in your unit can be devastating. So if you think that's too long, you can change the number. You may get a 4-sided die. You may get a 5-sided die. If you think it's too short, you could make it a 10-sided die, and it will generate you numbers. You can also do modifiers to the individual dice. But what this does is, say I'm going to roll 7 6-sided dice to see when my guys come in, and there you have it. 5, 4, 6, 4, 6, 2, 1. So I would just go down the stack, and the top guy goes 5, next guy goes 4, next guy goes 6, and so on. And because when you're moving units, these things will actually be can scroll up on the screen. You can copy this and place it here in the text like that, and then it'll be there even when you start moving guys. So, if you start moving these guys, you go, boom, you see how it rolls up, but you still have the numbers down here. So you can keep track of them that way. So that's another nice little thing. I changed the combined faction card. Used to just be called faction card, which could be confusing. So I abbreviated it to CFC, and then it's called the combined faction card now window. And it's not used in this one because this is set up for a 3-player game where we're actually using the big cards. That's the other thing about the convenience setups. I did set it up for the first one, which says Solitaire. That uses the combined faction cards. It doesn't use the 3 big cards. It's all in one place. That's very useful if you're Solitaire, so you don't have to remember which card you have to open, and those cards take up a lot of real estate on your screen. The combined faction card doesn't. Same thing with the national tracks. In this game, the national tracks are empty, but basically that's a combined national tracks that you can use for the same thing. Player aid card is updated to the latest rules. So there's the new weather table over there, which is kind of nifty. I like the new weather table so far. Combat results table has been upgraded, so you see here attacking unit effect by porters -1. And then you're only allowed to assault in poor and severe these days. What else did we do? I think that's it. As usual, if you have, if you set the die roll modifiers, which is these buttons here, if you set the numbers here, when you roll the attack die, it will show you what you rolled plus the modifier. So for recording purposes, if you're playing play by mail or you want to play back a vlog and see what happened in that turn, this will show you the numbers. Still have not got the summing to work, so I can give you like the modified die roll number. I'm working on it. I think I'm going to have to write a little DLL because it's not a feature. And then the defender does the same thing. So if you do that one and you hit this defender die, you get that. The blue die is just a single die roll, usually used for like when you have a tanks, or not tanks, but like a heavy artillery or something like that that has a turn count. You can roll that, tell you when it comes in. 2 dice, I have not yet to find a reason to roll 2 dice in this game. I don't know why I still have it there. I have it there for a reason, but I can't remember what it is. And then the 3 dice have been converted into being always weather die rolls. So, and it will tell you, basically the blue die represents cold, the green die represents mild, the yellow die represents warm. And it tells you what the weather die rolls are. Which then, of course, you go look at this nifty little chart and it tells you what everything is. Okay. I think that's all the big additions that I've done to the module. Please try it out. Let me know if there's something missing or something you want added. I probably won't be making an update for a while because I do have some other Vassal module projects that I'm working on. Some things that I think that really need to be sort of spruced up, like this one was. In one case, I'm actually taking some of the chrome off. In another, I think it needs to add a little bit of chrome like this one did. And so on. So I do have several different kinds of projects going on. So this is my first love, of course, but there are some other things that need some attention as well. Okay. That's it for this sort of quick little update on what we've done in the module. Look forward to your comments. Let me know if something's really broken, and I will take time out to go and fix it. But I think everything is functional now, one way or another. And I hope you enjoy it. Hope to see you somewhere on the Vassal servers. Till we meet again, stay safe, and bye-bye.